All right, well, we just got here to coming?
Yep, I'm yawning.
Home Depot, and we need to see if we can get some stuff for the bus. We're looking at flooring and more ceiling stuff to do the ceiling. So what we're trying to determine is the best R value, but also be able to put it in the ceiling easily. If we get this thicker stuff here, you can see we're not going to be able to bend that, which means we'll have to cut it all in little pieces. So I'm thinking about getting something thinner that we can put several layers and get the same R value, and then it can just adhere to the ceiling. But we got to look into it a little bit more before we decide. Alright, well, we just came back from a run to Home Depot, and I'll show you in the back of the truck here what we have, at least part of it. So I am concerned, but we took the chance. I've seen a lot of videos with issues with different types of flooring because of the temperature changes in the bus. So we made sure we got a wood one. It's not solid wood, it's the thin stuff, but it's not the rubber. The rubber stuff tends to expand and contract substantially, causing buckling and stuff. So we did not go with that. So hopefully this will work. We'll find out. But we have subfloor. We went fairly thin. Hopefully that's going to be okay. And we have 1 inch insulation down there. And we picked a couple other sheets up too to do some testing as far as what we want to do for the ceiling in the bus. But the first thing I do is get this stuff unloaded.
Kind of the line after 1/4.
Alright, so you can see we're slowly dropping the insulation in here. And like I said, this is what we decided to do, is just cut it, go up against that lip, and then the plywood will go all the way, of course, anyways. So, slowly but surely, the bus is getting floor insulation.
I'm ready for you.
You're not going to cut it?
No, I'll mess it up.
You can't mess it up. It's styrofoam.
I know, but then I'll be all pink like you. Not as good as you did. But it's done.
So, we're currently working on putting the floor in as far as the insulation and the subfloor. And I have seen many videos on many different ways to do this. And I'm not saying there's any one way better than another. I think you'll find out over time depending on what way you choose. I think there's pros and cons in all of the different ways that you do the floor. Some people adhere 2x down to the metal, put insulation between them, and then screw their subfloor down to that. That is certainly a good solid way of doing it. I was trying to minimize how much height we gained so we wouldn't lose any space. Plus, the fewer seams in your insulation, the better off you are as far as insulating factor. And the insulation is a better insulating factor than a 2x4. So by putting full sheets of 4x8 1-inch foam insulation down is R5 insulation on the floor with only a seam every 4 feet. Then we're putting 1/2 inch plywood, which I would recommend thicker, but we wanted to get the flooring and stuff today too. And so we opted to save a few bucks, get a little bit thinner, but we also are going to put underlayment padding down. So that's going to give us a little bit more R factor as well as this plywood. And then we're going to be putting laminate floor down on top of that. And Right, wrong, or indifferent, we may find out down the road that we've made a mistake on this. I have seen some issues with other people's videos when they use some of the rubber flooring and they put the whole floor down and built on top of it. So we did not buy the rubber flooring for that reason, because of the temperature changes in the bus, can be extreme. We are going to do this test sheet right here. We have insulation down directly on the metal floor, which you saw has been treated and then painted and all that. And we did not adhere the foam to the floor. It's just sitting there. But we are going to adhere this 1/2-inch plywood down to the foam, which we have weights on it right now. And we're using just interior project construction adhesive by Liquid Nails. I got a whole case of it here. I'll put a link in the description for it if you're interested in it on Amazon. It will be an affiliate link, so it's a great way to support the channel with no additional cost to you. So if you need some of this, please click on the link, head over to Amazon and pick some up. But we're going to try this and let this sit overnight in hopes that we don't have to adhere the styrofoam down. So it'll give us a little bit of a floating floor as the bus expands and contracts, and the floor expands and contracts, has a little bit of space to move and breathe. That's our hope anyway. So we're gonna just glue this one sheet down for now. We're gonna continue cutting sheets, getting it ready to go, and getting the insulation all cut and the plywood all cut. So once we're sure it looks like it's gonna work out, we're gonna go ahead and do it. Then we will be putting the flooring on top of this, and Tracy and I both talked about whether to do it before we put walls up, because if we do it before we put walls up, it looks really nice to get the whole floor down. But then if you build walls on it and have an issue, you're gonna have to cut around it. If you do it afterwards, there's some pros there as well. You don't have to worry about dropping stuff on the floor and damaging it during construction. You're going to use less flooring because you're going to go around the walls and other stuff. So we haven't really decided on that yet, but let's get this part done, and then we'll decide on the flooring afterwards. Anything you want to add?
No.
They want to hear you talk. They're going to think I'm abusive and I beat you.
You're right.
Trust me, she can beat me up. I sleep with one eye open. What do you think about it, though? Do you think we should do the floor before or after?
Before.
Before?
Because it'll look pretty.
All right. It's the next morning. We're gonna see how this adhesive worked. The issue is it's kind of chilly this morning. For mid-May, it's only 50 degrees out. If you saw it yesterday, it was bowed up, and now it's not. Now, the adhesive could be overkill, who knows. It only used one tube for this sheet, because there's going to be a trim board on the ends pushing down and a wall on both ends, so that'll be holding down on it. And then, from a little ways back going that way, there's going to be cabinetry and all kinds of other stuff. That's one reason why I didn't mind it being bowed this way, so when you push down on the ends, the middles will be pushed down too. But it definitely helped. It's glued down. The styrofoam is moving just a little bit, but it's minor. And once we put the walls and stuff down, cabinets, this should be a fairly solid subfloor, and we'll be able to put the flooring over the top of it. So this looks like a win to me. We're gonna go ahead and complete this process, or continue the process all the way to the back. I do have to do some work at the back corner there before I close it in. And we also have to make sure we have an access to the fuel tank door. So we'll have to make like a trap door in the floor all the way through so we can access that as well, if we ever need to in the future. But I gotta tell you, it's chilly in this bus right now. Very chilly. Can't quite see my breath, but it's cold. So to get it in, you just gotta you really gotta get it down like this. And drop too short, maybe? I don't know. Well, a little bit. So, all right. So we'll show you here. This is what we're talking about. So we were basically cutting around this. This went right up against the wall. And if you look back here, you probably can see it on this one. This particular one we weren't finished with, but it ended up going right to the wall with it, and we were just carving around it. But with what's left with insulation, yeah, it's some, but it's not that much. So I think we're just going to do it this way and butt it right up against this and call it good. When we put the plywood down, we'll go right up against the edge. Maybe we'll put a thin layer of insulation in there or something different. But the amount of work it takes to do it with these, not worth it.